won't take very much time, I promise. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lena, and this is where I talk about books and being an art teacher and kind of about being a new mom, but not really. But a lot of the times you'll hear baby fox in the background of videos, and so it just kind of happens. But you know, you're probably new here, so if you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Yay! So this is the mid-year freakout tag. Did anybody tag me? No. Am I doing it anyways? Yes. So I have my notes here. I am going to do my best to show you the covers of all of these books, but quite honestly, it ended up being like a lot more than I thought, and so collecting all of them was kind of a chore. And yeah, there'll be a lot of editing that I need to do where I'm cutting out clips of me just searching for books. So enjoy not having to watch that. So my Goodreads reading goal for 2022 was to read 50 books, which I thought was incredibly ambitious as like a full-time teacher and a new mom and all those things. And it is currently the beginning of July, and I have read 89 books. I've never read that many books in a year, and we're only like a little over halfway, and I'm not slowing down, and it's the strangest thing, because I tend to like fall into these like rabbit holes of being in love with something and just like binging it until I'm like, okay, I'm good, and then taking a break on it and moving on to something else. Every time you open a new book, it's a new story. I haven't gotten sick of it because every book is new. It's amazing. So many lives to live. It's incredible. But you know that because you're watching BookTube. I have read mostly contemporary fiction, thrillers, science fiction. I'm finding that I love science fiction, surprisingly. Learning a lot about myself as a reader. So, the best book you've read so far in 2022. 3 books here, and I'm just going to do them in order that I read them. So, the first was in January. I read Project Hail Mary. This was my first Andy Weir book, and I read it because like Goodreads said it was like, oh, the best sci-fi of 2021, but oh my goodness, I loved this book so much. It was a 5-star read. I sobbed. I think a big part of that is because I'm a teacher, and the main character in this story is also a teacher, and so I related to him on a really personal level that way. And I just loved the way that the story unfolded. I felt that the way that it was done was really beautiful and really introduced you into this kind of futuristic world. So invested. So invested. Another favorite of mine this year was Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. I was nervous that Jennifer Saint wasn't going to like meet my expectations because I loved Madeline Miller's like Circe, but I think I actually enjoyed it even more. Jennifer Saint, I think, is going to be like an auto buy for me from now on. Done so beautifully. Well, if you've not read this yet and you enjoy Greek mythology, then I cannot recommend this enough. This is also 5 stars. Then the last one was like a modern classic, but it's A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. And I'm shocked to say that this is one of my favorite books of the year, but my goodness, I just read this last month. It's such a beautiful picture of what life looked like for like a young Irish girl in America at the turn of the century. I wish that I had read it earlier in life, but even so, reading it now, it still had a huge impact on me, so this is like one of my new favorites. The best sequel I have read so far in 2022. So I do not read a lot of series at all, but have to say is Heartstopper. I finally got around to reading Heartstopper, and obviously I loved it. So sweet, so enjoyable. New release that you haven't read yet, but want to. And the first one is Funny Farm, a memoir about a woman who she has 600 rescue animals, it says. My partner and I are both vegan. They are very passionate about animal rights, and so I too have become passionate about it. And Topher's dream is to have rescue a pig and rescue a cow and that kind of thing. Well, their dream is to rescue a cow. I'd say my dream is to rescue a pig. But anyway, and then Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I cannot believe I haven't read this yet. I gotta get on it. Just gotta do it. Yep. Last but not least, I had said that Jennifer Saint was going to be an auto buy for me, so I had pre-ordered Electra. Okay, where to put these books? Most anticipated release for the second half of the year, Upgrade by Blake Crouch, which actually I think just came out this week. So I guess it's not an anticipated release anymore, but I don't have it yet. So looking forward to that. And then in the fall, I saw, oh my gosh, what's it called? I saw Books and Lala mention it, and it sounded like such a cute little romance. Oh my gosh, what is it? It's like witching, and it's got like a cute play on words, and I can't look it up on my phone because I record on my phone. I'll just put the book cover right here. Biggest disappointment, I do not have either of these books with me because I have since sold them. Number one was The Lost Apothecary. I had really high expectations, and I just thought that it was really poorly done. Just not realistic, and that a grown woman would not make the choices that this woman was making. A lot of it just felt really contrived and forced drama. And also, as someone who has worked in the museum field, the main character's treatment of artifacts I found very frustrating. And then the other one was The Cartographers. I was really excited for The Cartographers. I'm actually really passionate about maps and cartography. My grandfather was a cartographer. I use maps in a lot of my artwork, and so I feel a very deep connection to them. I don't know. It just it was going, and it was okay, yeah, I can get into this. And then it just kind of lost me at the halfway point. Biggest surprise. One of them I do not have the physical copy because I got it from my library, and that was XOXO by Axio. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun with that story. And I am not knowledgeable about the K-pop scene at all, but now I kind of want to be because I enjoyed this story so much. But it made me feel like a giddy teenager again. Then on a bit more serious note, I guess really all of these are a more serious note, but Dune was a huge surprise for me. I read this because I just felt like it was something that I should do. If I think that maybe I'm a big fan of science fiction, then I have a responsibility to read this. And so I was really intimidated going in and kind of assumed that I was gonna slog through it and I was not going to enjoy it. And I was so wrong. I loved this. And I actually I feel like I read this pretty quick as well. There was I feel like it could have been better in the way that women are portrayed in the story. But I think part of that too is being a product of when it was written. I think if it was written today, the women would play a much bigger role. I think that I'm actually going to pick up the sequels, which I never would have thought that I would do. And I also got the graphic novel recently, so I'm excited to read that as well. So this was a really big surprise. Another big surprise was Ready Player One. This was so much fun. This was so nostalgic. I had such a good time. Another big surprise was Watch Over Me by Nina Lacour. This was actually one that I had picked up during Spring Fling-a-ween. This was a really beautiful exploration of grief and healing, and kind of healing the inner child. This was just so beautiful. I read it in one sitting. I felt so much for her. And as soon as I finished it, I wanted to read it again. Oh yeah, and another big surprise was How High We Go in the Dark. Don't know exactly what I was expecting with this, but I thought was so creative, so original. At first you're what are all of these stories? What are they? They're all impacted by this plague, but what do they really have to do with each other? And then as you're going along, you start to see the connections, and it's it really puts things in perspective. Favorite new authors. One would be Kazu Ishiguro. Yes. Also, Axio. I don't know what it is about her writing, but I feel like she's like a friend telling me a story. I love it. I think she's wonderful. Oh, another one would be Frederick Bachman. I've not read anything by him before this year. And Anxious People and A Man Called Uva. I loved both of those books. There was another one that I read and now I can't remember. I'll definitely be looking forward to reading more of his work as well. Newest fictional crush. I don't get fictional crushes very often. One that I would say is Dionysus from Ariadne. I don't know if that's like weird because he's a god, but I found him really charming. Every time I start talking, he starts kicking and like making noise again because he can tell that I'm just like next door. And then when I stop talking, he gets quiet. And then I start talking and he gets loud again. Newest favorite character? I don't know what this says about me, but they're both like kind of like robots. But Clara from Clara in the Sun was a favorite of mine. She was so pure of heart. I loved her so much. I feel a very like spiritual connection to the sun, and so her personification of the sun and the way she felt and talked about the sun, I really, really loved. And the other one is Rocky from Project Hail Mary. I loved Rocky so much. Oh my god. I'm feeling like emotional about it now. But yeah, definitely Rocky. Books that made me cry. Again, I've already said, but Project Hail Mary, bawled like a baby. Also Ariadne made me cry. All My Rage by Sabbath Tahir. How High We Go in the Dark, the roller coaster. Pet Cemetery, my god, the dream sequence. Ugh. I didn't know like anything about the story going in. And then just finished this week, the Death of Vivek Oji. I guess a lot of this is, oh wow, who am I? A lot of this is like mom crying, and I did not realize that until now. Some of it's like teacher crying and some of it is mom crying. Yeah, it's like a lot of mom crying actually now that I'm looking at the stack. Okay, books that made me happy. The Hobbit. This is my first time reading The Hobbit, and I just thought it was so cozy. This is something that I'm going to want to reread in the winters. It made me happy. Also, Light from Uncommon Stars by Raika Aoki. It's got aliens, it's got donuts, it's got classical music, the devil, a strong trans lead character, it's got sapphic romance. Oh, it's got everything. And then Convenience Store Woman. I just loved how Keiko kind of like really came into her own and learned to trust herself. If you have not read this, please do. It won't take very much time, I promise. Oh my gosh, this is for most beautiful book you've bought this year. Oh no. I'm gonna go give him his pacifier and continue. Yeah, so most beautiful books. Whoa. Okay. So, An Arrow to the Moon. Wow, beautiful. Total cover buy. Most of these are cover buys. Remarkably Bright Creatures. Look at these colors. Look at them. Appreciate them. Love them. Oh my god. It's beautiful. And not just because it's an octopus, but oh my gosh. This is my most recent book of the month purchase. You know I'm an art teacher, so there being classic art on there, yes, but also like the digital like rainbowy look. Oh my goodness, beautiful. Ruth Ozeki, The Book of Form and Emptiness. Love it. This is a fun cover. And I also really loved the UK cover. I had a hard time deciding which one I was gonna get, but I couldn't resist that red, you know? How High We Go in the Dark. You've seen it like 3 times already, so beautiful. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. Look at this beauty. I ordered it from the UK because I couldn't resist. So beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. And then, last but not least, she gets the girl. Look how fun this is. Like, I want this to be my life. Like, can I just live in this illustration? The roller skates, the girl-on-girl love, the flowers, the yellow. I am here for it. This is beautiful. I don't care what this book is like. It is staying on my shelf. This is so beautiful. It's beautiful. It's going to be, like, facing out. Can't help it. Books that I need to read before the end of the year. One of them I don't have here with me, but it's the Tea Dragon Society. I have all three. I haven't started them because I'm like doing that thing where I'm like hoarding them because I don't want it to be over. But that's stupid. So, gotta read those. Can't wait. They look adorable. Ooh. Also, the Poppy War. I haven't started this because I bought the hardcover for the first one. And I can get the hardcover for the third one. But to find the hardcover for the second one is like impossible right now. I don't know what's going on with that. Oh no. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I have not read this, and I know it is many people's favorite book, so I'm saving this for the fall. And then last but not least, The House in the Cerulean Sea. This is like on my list of 20 books I want to read in 2022. And I think it's the last one on the list. Oh, this and Arsenic and Adobo are like the last two that I still need to read. So there you have it. I don't know. We'll see. She's okay. She's okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little rambling about all the books I've read so far this year. Bye!